Hey everyone, this is Jake here, and today I'm going to show you how to automate sending Stripe invoices by selecting a field in an Airtable database. I'm also going to show you how to send a personalized email by selecting a field and depending on where your client is in your system or your funnel. So it's a very basic. It's almost like a custom CRM. Now, a lot of CRMs are super expensive, or they just don't provide the functions and the needs for every kind of business. So my solution is using automations like make.com and Airtable and creating a custom solution. So this is basically what we're going to be building here. So think of it as a CRM system that we're building, and so depending on where your client's at in your I guess your funnel or your flow or your workflow, you'd select an option. So for instance, request payment. It would change the field and then it will run an automation. And so I'm not going to show you how to set up the actual Airtable fields here. I'm going to send you a view only link of this. This is all dummy data. It's got my email. I mean, if you want to email me, go ahead. That's up to you. I'll send you this. You can create your own fields. These are all simple fields, though. I'll go over them briefly. So this is just a single text field. This is a status field, and there should be an option here, single select. This is also single select. We don't even need this lead source field. You need this modified date. This will be your trigger field. Website. This is for my own usage. Email. You need an email field. You need a phone number. Invoice URL. I thought we was going to need that. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that. You need you need an address for any invoices you're sending. You're going to need a full address, and then you need the price you quoted. You'll do that in your consultation meeting or whatever it is that you're doing. So the first step really is getting this information from the client. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do that. That's going to vary depending on your business. But what I like to do is I like to create an automation from fill out and then upload that to Make. And so I use fillout.com to build a form, and then I'll build a form something like this. So let's book your call, and then they have to fill out a bunch of stuff, and then they just fill out the fields, blah blah blah, and then you can get all their information. Put the address in there. You can actually create this form to send them a Stripe as well, but because it's booking an intro call, you don't really want to send them an invoice right out the gate. But put all their information in there and then send that to Airtable. I'll do another tutorial on that. That's for a different day. Right now, I just want to focus on doing the automated invoices. So, assuming you've built this out, you've got all the fields. I'll leave a link below. The key thing here is this field here, request payment. So what we're going to be building out in Make is this here. And so what this is going to do is it's going to watch Airtable, and then it's going to run through these Stripe modules, and so all these, I mean, it seems like a lot just to create an invoice, but it's the process for Stripe and their system and how it works. It's actually way overcomplicated, but it does the job. And then we get that file, and then we send them with a customized email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off the screen here, and I'm going to build it from scratch. But this is theoretically, I mean, this is what we're going to be creating, and then there's another couple of. Don't want to make that. Let's save that. There's a couple other automations that we'll do here, very simple, and we'll get into those after the Stripe one, which is more complex. So first things first, let's create a new scenario. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got my actual built scenario on one screen, and then I've got this on this screen. So just so I can explain it to you better, it's quite involved. So first step, Airtable, and then let's watch records. And then you'll have to do your Airtable connection. If you select OAuth, you'll just have to log into Airtable and then select a base. It'll show up here. You can choose the base. You can just click add, follow those prompts. I'm not going to get into that. Select your table. And then your trigger field, like I mentioned, you need the modified date trigger field. And then the label field, we can use company name. Let's just do one for now. We just want one record. Select the view as grid view, and then this is the important part. So there is a few other videos out there that use a script on Airtable. We can just use the formula which is found in Airtable's documentation. It was this right here. So status equals request payment. Let me just, yep, that's correct. Okay, so what it's going to do is here, it's going to find the status, request payment. So anything that has request payment is going to run through that. We've only set it to one record, so it's going to give us one record back. So save from now on. Okay, I'm not going to run it yet. I'm going to just start setting everything up, and then we can run some examples. So the next step is we're going to create a customer in Stripe. Okay, so in order to create an invoice, you need to create a customer first. So create a customer. Okay, and again, with Stripe, you can either set up a API key, or you can do the OAuth authentication. So click add, do OAuth, and then you can just log in, and you've got access without grabbing an API key and all that stuff. So saves you a few minutes there. And then the next step is we want to pull the email from Airtable, the name, the phone number. We want the address. You do need an address. You see here the field is mandatory. Street address, city, country, postal code, state, and then leave the shipping one alone. If the shipping, yeah, we're good, we don't need to do that. Payment method ID, you don't need to do that. Save that, so that creates a customer, and then just align. And then we want to Stripe. The next step is create a payment intent. That's it. Create payment intent. So this amount here is your quotation. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure it's the Airtable. Yeah, the price quoted. Here we go. Price quoted. And then the currency, US dollars. Description. You can do a description here. I do the price description. Recipient email. Do your email. Receipt email. Sorry, not recipient. Confirm this payment intent immediately. Just leave that empty. Customer ID. Do we need to fill that out? Yes, we do. Customer ID. So that customer ID is from Stripe. Once you've created that customer, you'll get a ID string right there. Payment method. We don't need to choose this. Okay, did I do the rest? Sorry, I made this a minute ago, but there was a lot going on. So no, that I can leave that all empty. Tracking number. You can if you want to include a shipping address if you're doing this for a store. But for now, we'll just leave that there. So save, and then the next step, we're going to create a invoice item, I believe. Let me just check. Invoice item, invoice, draft invoice. Okay, invoice item. Here we go. Create an invoice item. Customer ID. You can see it's really involved. Customer ID. That should not be there. It should be this one. Customer ID. Input an amount by a total amount. Okay. Now this is where it's a little tricky. So for some reason, Stripe processes payments in cents. Right, so 1,000 cents is $100, if I'm correct. Yeah. So the workaround with this is you just put the amount. So put the amount that you've got in Stripe, and then there is a function you can use. So just times that by 100. Okay, so it's really weird. It's just how Stripe processes the numbers. So anything times by 100 is going to equal the value, so in cents. So make sure you times that by 100, or otherwise you're going to be charging people in cents. Select the currency. Oh no, we can do this differently. There should be a currency. Here we go. There we go. And then, okay, that should be that for the invoice item. You don't want to start and end. Nope. Let's save that. And the next thing, I know this is super long-winded just to create an invoice. 0 is probably a little easier, but it seems like Stripe is more popular at the moment. So let's create, Stripe. Now we're going to create an invoice. So what we've done is we created a customer, we created a payment intent, we've created the line item, and now we're actually going to create the invoice, and then we're going to finalize that invoice. Now I know that seems kind of crazy, but it's just how it is. Create an invoice. So we use the same customer ID. We can use that right from the beginning. It's not changing. Auto advance control, you want to say no. Charge automatically. We're not going to charge them automatically. We're going to send them an invoice. And then for days until due, I just do 15. Due date, you can only do one or the other. So you could do a due date if you prefer. Just do due date and then go to the calendar and choose a date. Description, I would use, what did I use on my other one? I didn't even do anything on the other one, but you could add your Airtable description. Now this is where I had issues. So for some reason, if I left it empty, it wouldn't add the value, the amount from Airtable into the invoice. It would just be 0. So make sure you include. Include will include any pending invoice items, and will create an empty draft invoice if no pending invoice items exist. Okay, so the pending invoice items are what we just created previously, and so make sure if you include, because it's just going to give a $0 invoice. Okay, so save that, and now the last step is we want to finalize this invoice, I believe. Yep, finalize a draft invoice. It should be pretty easy here. Finalize a draft invoice. There we go. Finalize a draft invoice, and then just take the invoice ID from the most recent field, which would be create an invoice, invoice ID, save. Okay, now that's run. So we could run this now and create I guess a fake invoice, but I'm not going to do that. Let's do the next step. In fact, let's just save that. The next step is getting the file. Okay, so all we're doing here is we're just going to get the PDF that Stripe will create when we run this scenario. So very simple. Get a file, HTTP, get a file, URL. You can do the URL if you would rather send them a link, but here you see this here, Invoice PDF. It's going to attach that. Well, that's not going to attach it. Okay, so that's going to run that. It's going to pull the Invoice PDF. Then, last but not least, let's just do Gmail. Send an email. Add a recipient. You can get this from any point. I'm just going to do it from the Airtable just so we're not messing with things here. Airtable, email, subject. What did I do? I did a little crafty subject. Oh yeah, okay. So you can do like the invoice and the number. So I just did invoice number, and the number is from here. Invoice number, where are you? Invoice URL, number. There we go. So you got the invoice number, so perfect. And then content, okay. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Okay, hi. That's hi first name. Let's just use Airtable for that. Hi name. Looking forward to working with you. I've attached your invoice to be paid in the next 15 days. Full stop. So we can start working on the discussed project. Now you can change this up and make it look as whatever, if you want it to be more friendlier, if you want it to be more formal, blah blah blah. I've just put genius. I don't know why I put that. CEO. And then make sure you include these breaks. If you don't include these breaks in the email, it's just gonna sorry about that. If you don't include the breaks in the email, it's just gonna show the whole thing on one line and then attach the invoice. It looks kind of weird. It can still work, but just add these breaks. You might want to send a few tests just so you can see it, see how it looks. But super easy to do. Just add this tag here, which is a HTML tag. Then the next step, we're going to add an attachment. We want to get a file, and then we want to we want to get the We should just be able to get a file. Yeah, map. No, get a file. So select. So what we're doing is here we're selecting the file, the PDF that we just retrieved from Stripe for this invoice. So assuming this is all working well, let's. Why is that got some red? Just got the email address, invoice number, hi, blah blah. Get a file, save. This almost seems too easy, to be honest with you. I'm expecting a problem. Okay, so let's run this, and then I'll open up my email, see if it. In fact, yeah, let's just change this, make sure we got the right email. So let's just do meeting booked, request payment. Okay, and then so the cool thing is you can set this trigger to run whenever you want. So whenever you make that change, it will run 15 minutes or whatever, or immediately. But I'm just doing it manually for now. There we go. It's running through everything. Get file, email, and then let's just open up my email. Let's go on my email. I have a lot of emails in here, so please disregard. Here we go. Boom. Look at that. Hi Jake, looking forward to working with you. I've attached your invoice to be paid in the next 15 days so we can start working on the discussed project. Maybe that doesn't sound that fluid, but whatever. Cheers, Jake Bat, CEO. And I should have put a break here. But as you can see, looks pretty good. You can add more breaks so it looks better than this, or add a couple extra lines. And then you've got the invoice right there. There's the amount, 1500 US, due April 14th, 15 days from now. You can set up taxes and do all that stuff. I mean, that gets a little bit more involved, but there you go. Got their full address, their email, their phone number, all that stuff. So that's it. You're set there. I mean, you can use that for so many different things. It doesn't have to be invoices. It can be proposals. It can be just regular attachments. You just got to sign the attachment. In fact, if you don't have the time to learn this and want someone to do it for you, send me a message. I'd love to get on a call and discuss consultation of these automations. But yeah, and then so the next thing that I want to do is I want to send a CRM. So I want to send a notification basically to when this changed to new client. Yeah. So in order to do that, I'm not going to recreate this. You got to do two simple things. You got to find an Airtable. You got to do your Airtable setup, and then you just got to change the formula here from status. So we had request payment in here. Just change it to new client. Save that, and then just create the email module. Select the email. Welcome aboard, and then do another customized email. Right, so hi, blah, 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 we're excited to have you on board, look forward to helping your business grow, here's what you can expect. So you could do this when they've sent payment, right? You could actually make it change that when you've received payment, it runs Airtable and changes that status field. But that's a little bit more involved. But as you can see, so this is the next step here. Hi, name. We're excited to have you on board and look forward to helping your business grow. Here's what you can expect next. Step 1, step 2, step 3. If you have any questions, feel free to reply to this email or contact us, and you can put a number here, or you can make a variable or whatever it is you want, and then save that. And then, so what was the field? New client. So let's go and change this now. So they've paid, new client. Let's see if this works. I've not actually tested this. Save, run once, boom, boom, email sent. They've sent the payment. Boom, welcome aboard. We're excited to have you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I could have broke that out a bit better, but still, you can see the potential here. I've just sent them a welcome aboard email now that they've sent payment. So that's pretty cool. And then I would do that for other status changes. So I'd do send booking link. So say that this is probably pre paying or anything. I would like to send them like a calendar link. So I would select send booking link. So I'd actually change that to send booking link. So I'd change that. Run it in here, make sure the field is right, send booking link, status, send booking link, and then the email. Oh no, that's book a meeting. Hi, blah, 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 hope you're doing well. To kick off our work together, I'd love to schedule an onboarding call. Okay, that would be the other option anyway. So save, run once, see what happens. Book a call, let's see what happens here. That didn't go through. That one didn't go through. Did I make a mistake there? Or maybe it went to spam. No, that one didn't work. Let me check that out. Hold on a second. Send booking link. It didn't send. There's a why did that not send? Let me just check the email. Oh, okay, it's the wrong email. It's the wrong one. So let's change this. It's because I'm sending from this domain to this domain, so it didn't work. So let's do send booking link. This is going to go to my personal one. And then let's run that again. Okay. Now that should work. There we go. Jake, book a meeting. Hi Jake, hope you're doing well. To kick off our work together, let's schedule an onboarding call so we can discuss your needs, blah, blah, blah. Boom. And then you put your booking link in there, and then your company name and all that stuff. And so look how much, you know how much time goes back and forth, like, you know, when you're trying to schedule a meeting, or you're trying to do stuff, or you're working and then you got to email someone, and it's like, you know, you want the email to be professional, so you spend like 20-30 minutes trying to draft it out, and then you end up spending an hour writing an email. This here solves exactly that. Simple database with multiple fields, and then when those fields are triggered, when those fields are selected, it triggers a workflow and does it for you. Like, how much time will you save if you do something like that? Like, endless amounts. So that's pretty much concluding this tutorial. I hope you liked it. I know I kind of winged it a little bit, and I know you can get a little bit more involved, but like, you can see the potential here just from this. This took me about 2 hours to make. I mean, there was a bit of back and forth, you know, figuring out how Stripe works, but we don't have to use Stripe. We can use all sorts of modules here. Let me show you. Let me see if I can pull up another module here. Zero. Yep, so Zero is compatible. I actually knew that. QuickBooks. You can do QuickBooks. Who else is there? I don't even know that many. Wave apps. Yep, you can do Wave apps. So you could do this for any accounting system. You can do this for any trigger. It doesn't have to be Airtable. You can use your actual CRM. Say you're using HubSpot. You can do the same thing. You could even use a Google spreadsheet and then just run through a workflow. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you are interested in me looking at your business and seeing where I can improve your workflows and your automations, click the link below. Book a call with me. I'm going to leave this actual blueprint for free. There's also going to be a link there so you can download that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.